Branch 2, calling a spade a spade. Here we are releasing old patterns and triggers to welcome a breath of fresh air and a new way of perceiving things. You know, many people copy the patterns of their childhood. Actually, even life sometimes copies the patterns of childhood. If someone lost their father when they were 2 years old, and then had a daughter and lost her father when she was 2 years old, that's nature's patterns. But there's also technical patterns of families that a father marries another woman and the children don't find out until much later. And then the father, as the man as an adult, follows the same behaviors and does exactly the same thing. There's parents who, actually there's a child who the mother disappeared the minute the father remarried another woman, and the child never saw her father again. And then the woman, as an adult, repeats the same pattern. You have a father who was imprisoned because of some gangster behavior, and the child goes and repeats the same pattern. Why does that happen? What is it that causes it? Is it because unconsciously that's what we believe we deserve? We are the only ones who can decide what we deserve. And we can deserve goodness. We can deserve to use our old patterns to create new behaviors and to actually help our world improve. We can do all kinds of things. The key is, what are the voices you're holding subconsciously that you're not aware of, that you can bring forward now to release, to forgive, to create a new map, and move forward with a commitment to yourself to change those behaviors so that your family, your children, your next generation doesn't suffer for the same things. Family histories and legacies are so important, and it's only us who are responsible to change them. No one else can. Do you realize that no one else can change your future except for you? How liberating is that as a thought? Just to know it's all up to you. No one else has to be involved. It's up to you to make a decision, to find the ways to release all these things. How do we do it? Start by writing it all down. Writing down whatever patterns, based upon everything we've talked about here until now, that you're holding, where you are being unforgiving and blaming another party for everything that's going on in your life. Ask yourself if you're being fair. Ask yourself if you feel justified. Yes, I'm sure you feel justified. Ask yourself if you feel justified because poor you. It doesn't work like that. Your karma will negate yourself if you don't treat other people well. So, if you love someone, why would you inflict them with your old patterns? It doesn't help you. If your mother was working hard to support you as a child, and your father had disappeared and you don't know who he is, you should celebrate your mother like there's no tomorrow for having done that for you. And a lot of people blame their parents for the way they became or the life that they had, whether they had money or they didn't have money. It's not their fault, and it's not your fault. If you want to understand the generational patterns, go back and look at your parent at your age now and see what they were going through and put yourself in their shoes to try and understand it. I cried because I had no shoes and then I saw someone who had no feet. What are you using as your benchmark? Can we change it? Because karma does repeat itself if we're not consciously changing the patterns. You have to walk around with affirmations that suit you. There's a page of affirmations in our Muse. Please use them. Repeat them to yourself constantly. Because it's only by self-affirming and by releasing ourselves and forgiving ourselves and being kind to ourselves that we can make all these changes happen peacefully, congruently. We are not victims of nothing. We have choices. And for me, I know in my life, the biggest freedom was discovering that those choices are our own. They're liberating. The minute we realize we can be empowered by ourselves. Why don't we know that? Why are we never taught as children that we can be empowered to do anything we want? Or rather, maybe our parents tried to teach us, but we didn't hear it or we didn't listen to it. I don't know. The key is that today, anything can change. I invite you to welcome your triggers as a friend and as a teacher. I told a client of mine once, I said, when the person at your work is walking in front of you and you see him coming, and you're getting triggered and you're getting irritated, what you do is you smile and you say, welcome, my teacher. So nice to see you. Because that's where the growth can happen, is when you're looking at your triggers and using them to empower yourself, rather than get angry, get flustered, lose your sense of calm, see red because you're angry, and not solve anything. So if all of us use our triggers as our teachers, we actually have a lot of fun with ourselves, because we can actually use the example, see what's happening, watch ourselves from a cognitive eye above, and then look at it like a movie scene. Have a director in our head, like I've said in Enter the Garden. Create the director that helps you to see you from a different eye, looking at your life as a drama, as a movie, as a saga, as a love story, however you choose to perceive it. But take that third eye, take a step back, look at it objectively, and understand from a movie eye, from a director's eye, from a scriptwriter's eye, and create your story. It helps a lot. And this way, we can celebrate life, release old patterns, and move forward consciously, doing what's right with wisdom, with integrity, with awareness, with a clean eye of what is right and what is wrong. Because we are accountable even for the mistakes we make unconsciously. Ignorance is not an excuse for anything. We are responsible to make the right decisions for ourselves, for our families, for our children, for the next generation. Even if we think we have suffered for something, we are not allowed to stay with it. We have to allow it to move on and let it go so that our children don't suffer for it. We have no right to put that onto them. If there are stories of betrayal, infidelity, abuse in your past, do you really want to carry them to this fragile life and let them stay with you till the end of it? Is it worth it? Forgiveness is such an important part of our peace of mind. Even if you don't ever want to speak to another person again that they've hurt you, forgive them, forgive yourself. If you can reach out to them and make peace, joy to you, because it actually makes your journey better. It's almost like being selfish to say, I want to heal my life, therefore I will forgive the other person, and I will show an act of selflessness because I want to be selfish and feel good in me. If that works for you too, so be it. But don't leave these things. Don't let them stay like this. It's not worth it. So we're studying the complexity of yesterday to create the simplicity of tomorrow. It's a journey of pulling out all the worms, and it may feel uncomfortable and it may feel troublesome. I thought so for a long, long time, but actually, the minute I started that journey, I realized it was one of peace. It was not as painful as I thought it was. It was a lot easier. If you go back into the Enter the Garden program, there's a family map there, where you can actually write out your family map to see all the pieces of your childhood that were affecting you and how you can measure them forward. it's already there in Enter the Garden, which is for free, so therefore please just go ahead and take it out. And I realized that I avoided doing my family map for a long time. The reason being was that I was scared of it. I thought it would be a tedious process and it would feel uncomfortable. It was actually very liberating, and I learned a lot of powerful and beautiful things about my family just by contextualizing it. And I celebrated it. All the things I thought were difficult, I ended up finding admiration and pride in those pieces. So I welcome you and I invite you to please do this journey in order to find solutions for a way forward that is beautiful.